Win the incredible Steigercraft 21DB Miami, powered by a Yamaha 200, in the ultimate season-long multiple-species subscriber-only fishing competition, the Fisherman's 2017 Dream Boat Fishing Challenge. Go to thefisherman.com and enter today. The fishing news is brought to you by Okuma.
Hi there, Toby Lapinski for the New England edition of the Fisherman magazine with this week's web video fishing forecast for New England. I'd like to start off this week's video with a reminder about the big fundraiser event taking place this Saturday, October 21st, from noon to 4:30 p.m. in Clinton, Connecticut. Now, if you missed my original announcement, just to recap, 4-year-old Owen Hanecak, son of Rhode Island field editor here for the Fisherman magazine, John Hanecak, was diagnosed with leukemia back in July. Now, while Owen is currently in remission, he has about a 3.5-year treatment process ahead of him, and a bunch of us in the fishing community have joined forces to help raise some money to help the family out with the expenses of the treatment. There will be some awesome auctions and raffle items to be won this Saturday, as well as a pair of must-see seminars, which are included with admission $10 donation for the show. First up, we have Captain Jack Sprengel. He will be presenting a seminar entitled Striped Bass, Backwaters to Big Water. He'll have a focus on advanced boating approaches to targeting striped bass in a wide variety of locations and conditions. And then for the surf fishermen in attendance, we've got good friends Pat Abate, as well as Steve McKenna. They'll be speaking about Block Island techniques then and now. And this will be a fascinating look at how fishing has evolved over the years on Block Island. These two guys have a ton of experience fishing out on Block. They were there in the 80s in the heyday of the fishing on Block Island, so it is worth the attendance there. If you're interested in coming to the event, you want to check out all the details, you can find them as always posted at thefisherman.com, and I really hope to see you come on out at Clinton on Saturday. All right, moving on into the reports. Start off as always in Connecticut, and while surf fishing has been decent for some, it's rather spotty. You've got good pockets of striped bass and bluefish moving along the coast, with some false albacore still popping up. The majority of interest here in Connecticut remains on blackfish, as this fishing has been downright excellent since it opened up last week for the fall season. Now, it's still primarily a shallow water game with a lot of the bigger fish coming off of the breakwalls, but there have been some big white chins pulled out of deep waters, like the 10.8 pounder, which took top honors in this past weekend's Togtober tournament hosted by our friends at Black Hall Outfitters. Now, that fish netted the lucky angler over $1,000 for the top spot. So if you didn't sign up for this year's tournament, then I highly recommend that you put it on your calendar for next fall. Over in Rhode Island, much like Connecticut, the roadie beaches have a mix of bass, blues, and false albacore most days, but interest is gaining way on blackfish now that the bag limit has increased from 3 fish up to 6 fish per angler. Minimum size remains 16 inches, and keep in mind that regardless of how many anglers you have on board, the maximum number of blackfish that you can retain in total on a private vessel is 10 fish. This is a Rhode Island specific rule. Now, of course, this limit does not carry over to for hire and party boats, as the per man limit applies there. But again, private boats in Rhode Island, regardless of the number of anglers, keep in mind it is a 10 fish total bag limit for the boat. Very important. And the other really big news right now in Rhode Island is the reopening of black sea bass season, which takes place this Sunday, October 22nd in Rhode Island as well as federal waters. The limit will be 7 fish per angler through the end of the year, and the 15-inch minimum size remains. This is great news for local anglers, as sea bass have been so prevalent in the last couple of weeks since it was closed in the middle of September. Boats coming over there to fish for blackfish and cod and scup have been really almost found sea bass to be a nuisance at times. There's just so many of them around, but you know what? It was closed for the month, so you got to do what you got to do, but it is wide open once again this Sunday. And then up in Massachusetts, as noted in this week's New England Offshore Fishing Report by Pat Vogt, the waters around the Cape remain the place to be right now if you're hunting bluefin tuna. There have been some crazy surface feeds at times with fish from small recreational size well on up past the now closed commercial size limit. And this is going to provide for an awesome opportunity to drop a recreational fish in the cooler, as well as potentially tangle with some of the largest fish we have in our local waters, of course on a catch and release basis. And you know, it's not just about saltwater species putting a bend in the rods of Cape anglers right now, as our good friend Danny from the Goose Hummock Shop nailed a hefty 3.79 pound smallmouth bass this week from a Cape cod pond. Now, as good as the Cape's saltwater fishing can be, and for all the press that it gets, there is some world-class freshwater fishing to be had year-round on the Cape. So if you're looking to get in on that action and you're up there, be sure to stop in one of our friends, for instance, the Goose Hummock. They'll point you in the right direction. Blackbeard's, Falmouth Bait and Tackle. There's some awesome shops up there, and they know just as much about what's going on the freshwater side as they do on the salt. All right, well, there you have it. I am Toby Lapinski for the New England edition of the Fisherman magazine, wishing you tight lines if you head out onto the water this weekend.
The fishing news is brought to you by Okuma. Win the incredible Steigercraft 21DB Miami, powered by a Yamaha 200, in the ultimate season-long multiple-species subscriber-only fishing competition, the Fisherman's 2017 Dream Boat Fishing Challenge. Go to thefisherman.com and enter today.